What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We are on the second portion of the marksmanship package. This is the eyes. What do the eyes do to help us shoot better? First of all, let me tell you why I talk about eyes and I don't talk about vision, although that's probably similar. And I definitely don't talk about sights because I don't think that's similar. So grip, sights, trigger, for me, it's leaving too much on the table. It also just puts the focus on the wrong thing. If I'm talking about sights as part of my marksmanship package, I am going to tend to look at my sights and what are my sights doing, and I'll have an extra focus on what the sights might be doing, where they are, whatever. I want to 100% be abandoned to, I'm going to look at the target always. Doesn't matter if it's iron sights, doesn't matter if it's red dot. The goal in life would be that I can pick a spot on the target and the gun will start gravitating towards wherever I'm looking at. Whether you like it or not, wherever you're looking, that's where bullets are going to start climbing to or going to. So I don't want to be thinking about sights because that tends to pull me back into the gun to a 2-foot focus instead of a 7, 10, 15, 25 yard focus. I want to be focused out there on the target, not focused on the sights. So I don't talk about sights. Vision, yeah, okay, but with eyes, there's so much more than just aiming. What do the eyes do? Well, if I am shooting, right, and then I need to do a quick reload, my eyes are going to shift to the magwell, right? So my eyes are going to tell me where to do a reload. My eyes are going to tell me where to go if I need to go to a different shooting position. They're going to look for stuff that I need to be aware around me, walls, barricades, whatever. I'm not going to get into the tactics of it, but my eyes are going to give me a lot of information about that. My eyes can pick a target, my eyes can discriminate a target. Like, okay, that's a no-shoot, that's a hostage, whatever. I'm not going to shoot that. My eyes are giving me all that information. I want to be working my eyes a whole lot. What else do the eyes do? They pick a very small spot on each target that I want to bring my gun to, right? So my eyes are picking spots. So yes on the reloads, yes on the movement, yes on the target discrimination, yes on the target acquisition, yes on the awareness of my confirmation levels. So even though I'm still very much focused on a spot of the target that I want my bullets to appear at, my eyes can still be aware. If I train them to stay out there, I can still be aware of something that's in front of my face. Like right now, I'm waving my hand that's about a foot or two from my face, but I am not staring on my hand. This would be staring on my hand, not paying attention to my sights. And all of a sudden, I lose very much focus on when it goes going out there, which is a problem. So even though my gun is doing this in front of me, I still want to be very, very much focused on the right thing, the correct thing, to get the best results. So eyes do a lot. And to me, the way I reason I teach it this way is because most people way underutilize your eyes and need to train your eyes to be better so that you can be a better shooter. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I will give you some exercises you can try to get your eyes to be better. All right. So grip, eyes, trigger. So we did grip on the last video. On this one, eyes. And for our eyes to be worked out, we need to stop doing just lateral transitions. That's how most people would work out eyes. Is they'll have something like this, that maybe it's on a wall if you're dry firing, right? Forget this, right? Let me clear that up for you. You might have something like this, you know, or simpler, whatever, but you have like this, maybe a piece of steel, and your eyes are moving from target to target, and that's good. You're doing some work. Your eyes are doing some work to find the next thing. And in dry fire, because the gun is not recoiling, it is pretty simple to look from target to target, bring the sights to that spot, and then the sights appear, you move on to the next spot. And then you go to the range, and then you're like, man, my transitions still suck because I get attached to the gun very often, very frequently. Two things are happening at the range. One, you have recoil, so the gun is moving. It's not just moving left and right, target to target, but now it's moving up and down. So there's more movement of the gun, which is distracting. That distraction, because you haven't trained your eyes to be picking a spot, staying focused out there. That distraction is easier to get attached to, right? And then the other thing you don't do enough of, most people don't do enough of, is depth transition. Depth transition meaning like I have targets on different planes of focus. Whoa, hello. Nice catch, boss. I have targets on different planes of view, and now my eye lens actually has to zoom in to each part. Not only do I have this target, but then I have to zoom into that target, and I have to zoom into that target. Now I am switching back and forth to different planes of view, And because I'm practicing that in the dry fire space, when I get to the range and I do that, because not all of your targets are going to be on the same line when you're shooting at the range, now I have a much better way of identifying and giving the transitions enough time. People call it respect or whatever. The reason why you're missing at distance isn't necessarily because the target just became more difficult. It's because you have a loose focus on that target instead of a particular focus. So this is how you're going to find out whether you do or not. And this is going to require some honesty. Like, you're going to have to practice this and have some, like, be honest with yourself. And if you don't have stands like this, obviously you can buy this on Amazon. You can make this yourself, whatever. You can put stuff on your mantle or your chairs or whatever, on your coffee table, whatever. Put stuff in different places so that they're not all on the same wall. Without even having a gun out, I just want you to look to a spot, and as soon as you have what you deem to be like very good, clear focus, then I want you to look to the next spot at a different depth. Right? And then as soon as you have clear, identifiable, like, man, I have as good a focus as my eyes, because your eyes are all different, right? And we don't all have like very, very good vision. I don't. That's why we use red dots. So we don't have to focus on a million things. But I try to get as much focus on the next one. As soon as I think I achieve it, I go to the next one. This is what you're going to learn. You're going to learn that probably 2, 3, 4 targets into this exercise, you're going to start looking very medium. What I mean by that is that if the exercise is somewhere between like 4 or 5 feet and 10 feet, something like this, you're going to have a probably like this many feet focus, and then everything is going to be kind of medium. You just have medium focus on everything. So you don't have, nothing is really sharp anymore. And then every now and again, once you pay attention to it again, like your eyes will get focused on a spot. You're like, oh, that's what it looks like when I'm focused on a spot of the target. A lot of people just can't even give me a definition like, well, I can't see a target at 25 yards. Like, I can't see the perfect. You're right, I can't either. But I am trying to push my focus on that target as best as my eyes will do. And I know that if I stay on a loose, let's say I just shot a 5 and 10 yard target. If I let my eyes just do what they want to do, they'll be lazy. And I will have a shape at 25 yards that I deem to be target focus that really is not. Let that sink in, because every time you're missing out there, it's not just your grip, it's not just your trigger. You're probably not actually bringing your gun to a specific spot of the target. You're bringing your gun to a general part of the target that seems to be appropriate. And maybe it was when you were shooting at 5 and 7, 10 yards because you were focused at 5, 7, 10 yards. Then you go to a more distant target. You did not give your eyes enough time to shift in focal depth or whatever, zoom, whatever you want to call it, zoom to that 25-yard target and actually give that target. If you're doing lateral transitions, your eyes are already focused on that plane, I would submit to you that those transitions don't take as much time as something where you have to go back and zoom back and forth to a closer target, to a farther target, and all that stuff. Depth transition, focal shift, requires just a hair more time. How much time? I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I do know for a fact from training, from my own personal experience, is that if I am doing depth transitions correctly, even though the transitions, like if I have 2 targets like this on the same playing field and I have 2 targets like this on a different playing field, even though they might be laterally the same distance, one of them just requires more time in the back for my eyes to actually pick a spot. And the same is true if you're honest with yourself when you go from a far target to a close target. How many times you went from some really tough shots and then you like zoomed by some close shots and completely failed on the close shots? Charlies and deltas on a 3, 5 yard target. Your eyes actually were not focused at 3 to 5 yards. Your eyes started to come back, and your eyes are quick, but man, if you don't pick a spot, you're not going to have a spot, right? So my eyes start to make the shift back, and it might be a tenth, a couple hundreds, whatever, but you don't give it enough respect. You got a gun in the middle of brown, and off you go. If you don't train to actually pick a spot, if you don't train to actually do the focal shift change, your eyes are not going to give you very, very good specific spots to bring the gun to. And so the gun will be in the general direction of where your target is, and that's why your results are very loose and inconsistent. So your eyes need to be worked out. This is one great drill. No gun necessary. Can you do this at home on a plane when you're traveling? Yeah, pick 3 different spots that are not on the same plane and have your focus and focus and focus. Maybe like give yourself a tap, or like you don't need to let people see, like you tap your leg. Okay, good. It's like confirm it. Yep. But don't allow yourself to move on from that unless you have what you deem to be the most focus your eyes can give you, at that target. And pick small things. That'll give you a whole lot of information. I think the more honest you are with that style of work with your eyes, the sooner you're going to be able to perceive when you are not truly focused on the target and you've got this medium glaze. I think at the beginning, most shooters that are not super high level, just, you know, average Joes, whatever, maybe newer shooters, will have a gun focus for the most part. And they'll kind of look at this, what is this, like 2-3 feet from my face, and I'm staring on my sights, or I can see the optic, I can see my dot, like I'm staring on my sights, And then at some point you learn that you have to be target focused. You're like, got it, I'm gonna be target focused. So like on the first target, I'm target focused, the gun comes in front of my eyes, I can kind of stay target focused for 1 or 2 targets, and then what happens? You go to that medium thing. Like as you get better, I am telling you, you're not staying out at the appropriate length or focus depth, and you're gonna start shifting back towards the gun. And if you're pretty good at this, you won't come back to the gun completely because you're like, that's dumb, I'm not gonna stare at my dot. And maybe you're not staring at a 2-3 feet focus, but instead of staying at 18, 15 yards, 12 yards, as soon as you go to a 3-5 yard target, you never truly go back to a 12, 15, 17, 20 yard focus, and you kind of stay in that medium focus. And I'm telling you, medium focus is good for a whole lot of Charlies. It's good for some mystery mics and deltas, because you don't actually pick a spot and you don't do the gymnastics of pushing your eyes back and forth. So that was exercise number 1. Here's another exercise that you can use. Obviously this one requires a tool. This is called the Brock system. I think it costs like $5 on Amazon. Go get you one. You attach one side of this on a pole. I usually, you know, tag it to one of these clips, and then the other side goes to your nose. And as soon as the string stops moving, becomes taut. Come on, stop. As soon as it becomes taut like this and it stops moving, you'll have one side of the string on your nose, the other side of the string attached to something else. If you are actually converging and diverging at the appropriate color, like each one of those spheres has a different color. If I am looking at the correct color, what I'm going to start perceiving is 2 strings going into the color, 2 strings leaving that color. And if I am not doing that, then I'll still see 1 string, and some things are blurry and some things are focused, and it's weird. If you're doing it correctly, you'll have a very good focus, laser beam focus to that point, boom, next color, and your eyes will snap to the different colors. You even start to discriminate some colors and jump colors without your eyes lagging, without your eyes being distracted by the medium or the middle colors, and you'll be able to snap, and that is a workout for your eyes that I think is super important that we do. And most people, what do they work on most? Trigger stuff, grip stuff. And I think it's important. Yes, work the trigger stuff. Yes, work the grip stuff. Don't suck at anything, but don't underutilize your eyes, because they are going to help you do a million things. Better reloads, better transitions, better movement to spots, looking through, even like just looking through a visual barrier. Like I know my target's gonna be there. If I start looking at my visual barrier instead of like pushing my eyes to where the target is gonna be, I'm going to have a delay when I get on the other side of the visual barrier, because I then need to like shift my eyes back there, right? So if I do this correctly, I don't lose the time, or I'm gonna shoot poorly because I am stuck on this visual barrier when my eyes should be pushed out to 12, 15 yard target, something like that. So your eyes have a lot of work to do. And if you will do these simple exercises, you can train your eyes to be more effective, more accurate, and watch your shooting improve just because you improved your tools, right? And again, everybody's got different eye things. I'm not a doctor, right? You might need glasses, you might need prescription, blah, 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 blah. But in general, your muscle, your eyes need to be worked out in a very specific way that helps you shoot better. And the specific ways are these, you know, actual shift, actual focal shift, not just lateral, but depth shifts. And then things like the Brock system that gives you an opportunity to notice when you are and when you're not doing that. The most important part, as with any part of your training, will be that you're honest with yourself. You're paying attention to the very specific things you're working on. And when something clicks and it's right, you should pause and go, yep, that's what it looks like when I get it right. And when it's not working right, be honest and go, hey man, like that's not working right. I don't think I actually have good focus on that specific target. I am telling you, once you start doing the focal depth changes, you will start seeing like more clarity if you give that little bit of a pause on that target. Like, oh man, I see a little bit more. I can't see the details per se, like the perforations like I can at 5 or 7 yards, but I can see more clarity when my eyes actually make the jump all the way or as far as I could get them out there. So try it out. I hope you find it super helpful. And at some point, we'll do one on trigger. Get after it.